Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll just kind of wait a few minutes while people get situated in here. I don't want anybody to miss the beginning, but we're also going to honor the punctual. And I was telling Jeff and Hunter, this is a very punctual group. A lot of people
Yes, it
waiting
is.
several minutes beforehand, which is awesome. I love it. Something about all these the way we schedule meetings and remind people and use these tools is awesome. It's hard to remember how we did things before before all of this, honestly. But
No kidding.
uh, I was selling websites before there was Zoom or any of these go to meetings, and I'm like, how did I do that? I think I must have emailed them a link and said, okay, now go here and you see this, click here, and then click here, and like, man, it's so nice to be able to just share your screen and do this video conferencing. It's awesome. So, well, hey, let's get started. We're really excited for today. We had such a large registration. Um, talking top of funnel, lead flow. I knew that would get a lot of attention. It's such a big need in our industry. So this is a big day for us, and we're excited to bring you today's presentation. You're not going to get a lot of me. I just wanted to start off by saying, hey, I wanted to introduce Jeff and Hunter and and what we're doing here, and then I'm gonna let Jeff really take it over with Hunter, and we'll save time at the end for Q&A. This will be definitely more of a presentation followed by Q&A, but put your questions into the chat, the Q&A. You want to raise your hand at then, we'd love to have you come on live with us. I got to meet Jeff. Is interesting story. We were on we both are partners with agencies with high level CRM. We were both on a meeting, and we started just kind of privately chatting, and Jeff's like, I know this is the answer to your question, and then he's like, hey, we could just talk afterwards. We started talking. I think we liked each other, and we were like, hey, there's probably more we could do. And then turns out Jeff had some history in the business brokerage industry, kind of a long story we won't tell now, but we realized we had some connections from the past, and we just kind of stayed in touch, and it kind of grew and grew over the last year and a half, and here we are, probably with our best offer. We've kind of teased out some ideas, but this is the first real solid offering. Hunter and Jeff have come up with an awesome new lead capture automation tool platform, whatever we want to call it. And Deal Studio is the first one to kind of launch with it. It is, for brokers, I think you'll get the most benefit if you're on Deal Studio. And if you need more information about Deal Studio, happy to get you the previous webinar and get you in touch with our team. But what we're going to talk about today is really top of funnel and getting those leads in specifically from LinkedIn. And Jeff and Hunter have just been great. They're starting to work with us, and they worked with a lot of our clients, a lot of happy people working with them. And we did a lot of relationship building, and it all kind of comes to fruition today. So we're real excited to introduce Jeff and Hunter from Onedery. This is a great extension for the Deal Studio platform, just really good for our industry. And I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. And Jeff, I'm going to hand you the microphone, and I'm going to let you guys take it from here.
All right. Well, I apologize for my blurry image. My camera decided to kind of do this literally 2 minutes before this webinar, so I had no time to fix it. So it is what it is. But thank you, Ron. I really appreciate the opportunity to join here, and I appreciate everybody taking time out of their day this Thursday to join us and learn more about what we're bringing to the table. Let me go ahead and share my screen because I do have a lot to get through. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on introductions. I kind of want to just jump right into it. But let me share. I do want to mention we're going to be monitoring the chat. So anybody who has questions throughout this process, please feel free to throw your questions in there. We will try to get to all of them at the end of this webinar. So let me introduce Wondery. As Ron said, Wondery is a CRM technology, and we got into the business of CRM because we were first lead generation specialists. So one of the past companies that I ran specialized in LinkedIn lead generation, and what I found was a lot of my users were not properly handling their leads after the lead was engaged. And when I would do onboarding calls, I would ask, what's your CRM? What's your process? How are you handling these leads? And they would all tell me, spreadsheets or, just, just it comes into my email and I follow up with them. And it mind-boggling to me that more people didn't have a proper CRM in place. So that's why we invested in this and started providing it as a tool to go along with our lead generation services. Fast forward years later, we've added on multiple different technologies and now built out a really robust system for lead generation with the CRM really at the core. And continuing, I've been continuing the LinkedIn automation for years, and we have clients who are using it very successfully. But what I found is that there's a lot more we could all be doing on LinkedIn, and in order to maximize the potential that it serves. So that's what this is all about today: is how to maximize LinkedIn for your brand. And I'll get into the details in just a second, but let me go ahead and start. Let me start the presentation. So, as I mentioned, my name is Jeff, CEO and founder of Onedery. Also with me on the call today is Mr. Hunter Jones, our CRO. And not with us today is Britton Nicholson, who oversees social media and provides social media services for some of our clients. But I want to introduce you to Hunter. He and I met, ironically, by way of LinkedIn. We were both in the industry, in kind of the marketing and advertising space, and I reached out to local industry experts that I could connect with and potentially actually meet face to face using my automation technology, of course. Hunter was one of those that responded, and we immediately hit it off, started playing golf on weekends. And we've been in business now for several years, and I'm thrilled to have him as a partner here at Onedery. So, Hunter, I'll let you kind of chat for a second if you like.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. And hey to everyone, just to give you a little background, I've been doing sales and marketing and software for about a decade, and part of what I did in my previous line of business was I was working with IBM Maximo. So I'm not sure if any of you have ever heard that. It's a lifecycle engineering and asset maintenance software. So what Jeff and I have been able to cultivate together on a lot of our business development goals are the engineering and the revenue building and a systematized approach to how this works. And if it doesn't work, let's pull it apart and redo it and make sure that it works. So that's a bit of what you're going to see today. We're going to be very high level, but we're looking forward to the Q&A section too, where we can get in depth on all your questions that you might have. So thanks for joining today. We appreciate it.
Love it. And one thing that I want to just kind of emphasize here is that Wondery as a brand, as a company, and as a culture, we really emphasize our white glove approach. So I've been in the software business for many years, and one of the issues that we face is adoption. And so when we started Wondery, we really focused on providing that white glove support that goes beyond the software, working with our clients to understand their needs, building strategies, implementing those strategies into the systems so that they truly work for you. This has drastically reduced our churn rate as an organization. We have very, very few clients we've ever lost. But it's also a lot more work. And so it's one of those things where we're finding that balance. And what I'm going to show you today is a system that we have built over and over and over again for clients of ours. And we have invested the time in taking everything that we've learned and really turn it into a turnkey solution. So let me go ahead and dive in. Sorry about that. I really thought I turned my ringer off. Give me 1 second. I don't want that to happen again.
I
All
think
right.
Zoom filtered it out anyway, so.
Yeah, I think it does. All right. So what we're here to introduce today is a brand new solution called LeadFlow, which combines prospecting, webinars, AI assessments, and the CRM automation all into one. And we've developed this specifically for the business broker space in partnership with Ron and Deal-Studio. So we're thrilled to introduce this to you. This is not just automation. This is a system that we've built that incorporates all the necessary assets, tools, and resources. Now, this is a LinkedIn first initiative. So why LinkedIn? Well, LinkedIn because it is a business to business social community. This is a place where people go to do business together, not like Facebook or Instagram. But LinkedIn has over 1 billion users now and allows you to be able to identify a solid list of prospects by just putting in a few parameters like title, industry, and geography. And right there, there's a list of people that you probably want to connect with. The hard part about LinkedIn, though, is the manual process. It is a lot of work to do it right. And a lot of people, I would say almost every person I speak to, says they know they could do more with LinkedIn and that it has a lot of potential, but they just don't know where to start and they don't have the time. And that's very, very normal. So, what are the common issues that prevent people from maximizing their opportunity, or I should say, brokers from maximizing the opportunity with LinkedIn? Well, one is the manual time consuming process. Outreach without attraction, meaning you're just reaching out but nothing's coming in. They're not coming to you, so you're always pushing, pushing, pushing. Inconsistent content. So if you are producing content but without consistency, guess what? LinkedIn doesn't reward you. It just sees that as a one-off thing, and you don't meet the criteria for the algorithm. No follow-up system. So if your LinkedIn isn't tied into a CRM so that you can properly manage the people that you are engaging with and follow up with them outside of the LinkedIn ecosystem, well, guess what? That's another breakage point. And then your CRM really needs to be designed around the behavior of how to properly follow up. Because in the world of LinkedIn, you've got new connections, then you've got people you're talking to, then you've got people who are actually interested, then you've got long-term follow-ups and not interested. This is kind of like the tags that you need to have to know where am I at with my prospects. So the issue is an effort sometimes. Some of you might be putting a lot of effort into LinkedIn, but it really is probably the lack of connected systems that's impacting your success. So without a system, your effort can't compound, right? So this is all about when everything's disconnected, you don't get the benefit of actually building the snowball and having all this momentum that's now paying back dividends over time. You're just starting the same process every day, and that is not a scalable approach. So let's talk about the algorithm real quick. And this is really important because if you want to maximize potential on LinkedIn, you have to understand how LinkedIn works. So first, we've got relevance, engagement, and consistency. So we want to make sure that we're connecting with and targeting the right people for us. There is no benefit to going mass blast or just connecting with everyone. Mainly because LinkedIn restricts your user profile and it only allows you to send a certain number of invites and messages and do a certain number of searches and things of that nature at any given day. And because of this restriction, you want to make sure that every effort you are making is specifically targeting the right person and you don't have any waste. Otherwise, you're just putting a lot of time and energy into things that won't pay off. And then when it comes to engagement, you have to engage through the channels that LinkedIn really prefers. So that means sending messages in mails and even commenting on people's posts. It wants to see that engagement. And then consistency. You have to have consistency when it comes to content and showing up. LinkedIn knows how many times you log in, and it wants to see you regularly engaged on their platform. And when it comes to content, you have to have regularity. That's what's going to get the algorithm to go, this person's bringing great content to our community. We want to start driving more traffic to him or her. That's super important. So prospecting alone, though, is not enough. Here's the reality is that, and I'm in the business. We have a LinkedIn automation technology tool that does prospecting. It will take your LinkedIn profile and connect you with up to 400 or 500 new ideal prospects every single month. It will send invites. It'll send follow-up messages. It'll like their comments. It'll like their post and comment. The tool is extremely powerful for doing the prospecting silo of your LinkedIn prospecting. But the reality is that if you want the algorithm working with you, you gotta do the other stuff too. You gotta bring the content. and the engagement. So LinkedIn prospecting, powerful, needs to happen, critical part of the process. But if you want to get LinkedIn working for you and attracting leads, then it's as a standalone, not enough. So how LeadFlow, our system that we've developed works is when we first get started with you, we meet to identify your ideal ICP, your ideal customer profile. And then we get our snapshot embedded into your Deal-Studio or your CRM, so that all the workflows and automations that we've been developing for years are now built into your system. And then we connect the LinkedIn automation. Like I just told you, LinkSynced is our technology stack designed for LinkedIn automation. That's going to handle the outbound. So what we do is once we get the automations connected to your profile, we then identify your list of prospects. And typically we're targeting about 500 to 1,000 prospects at a time. And we have a couple of unique strategies we're going to get into on how we find prospects on LinkedIn. I won't go into it right now. Then we start building the conversations and registrations route for into the centralized CRM. So this means we want to make sure that all of those, when we're building out our webinar strategy and things of that nature, we're tracking every step of the process. Next, we introduce you to Onedery Webinar. Onedery Webinar is another technology that we offer that actually helps facilitate live and evergreen webinar technologies. This is how you can build an education model. This is how you can actually attract people to you is by offering a webinar systems. So we build that out for you. And then we get into our automation nurture sequences and build out, make sure all the follow-up, all the drip campaigns, the emails, the text messages, and everything that we need to systematize is all set up in your CRM. And then lastly, we have a system designed to take the content that we produce as part of this strategy and turn it into social media posts. So now, in addition to LinkedIn, other social channels, we're creating all this content with you to now seed your social channels and make sure that we're regularly and consistently contributing to LinkedIn content-wise and feeding the algorithm. So here it is: prospect, attract, educate, systematize. This is the system that we've developed. This is LeadFlow. It handles all of these elements of the process. So it's a holistic approach to lead generation tied directly into your CRM. So I want to talk a little bit about our list building tool, but I'm actually going to let Hunter jump in here and talk about this because he's an absolute expert in what's called Onedery AI. It is our tool that we've developed that helps us isolate ideal prospects, but not just based on geography and title. We also have intent built into the system. Now, this lives outside of LinkedIn, but I'll let Hunter explain how this works.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So we've developed this tool, and if any of you guys have ever used a data tool of any sort, you'll know that it's usually associated to a hierarchy, like company and people that are associated to a company. Well, what we did with our tool is we associated the data. So if anybody's searching on the internet for anything that you care about, and in this case, it might be final sale of business, something like that, something that you care about. They're searching on Google, Microsoft, GPT, Grok, you name it. We're going to know that. And if we can associate them to their LinkedIn profile, and in most cases we can go and pull that list. So that might be a list of highly targeted 500 people in your general area that you want to connect with this month that have a LinkedIn URL that then we can go and set to run with our automation scripts. And at that point, it's going to attempt to connect with them. If it connects with them, it's going to send them messages and so on. And Jeff will get more into that. But I think the really key piece here that we've developed is the ability for our targeting systems to locate their LinkedIn URLs to their personal profile so that we can isolate them. And the last part of that is if you're familiar with LinkedIn search in the current state right now, LinkedIn is actually barring off a lot of search unless you use SalesNav. And in that case, you're looking at an additional $1,000 to $1,200 a year that you need to pay LinkedIn. Well, we're not a big fan of that for our customers, right? So this is just an additional resource where we can go grab 200 to 600 quality leads that are actually searching for exactly what you want, and we can bring them into your network if they connect and if they're open to a conversation. So this is the top line for this. I'd be happy to answer questions or demo this and in tandem how it works with our link sync software. Just say the word and we can set something like that up later.
Yeah, and maybe if we have time today, we can show a little peek under the hood as well. I am going to go into several of the technology tools and just show everybody how those work. But I love this. Intent-based targeting is a game changer in LinkedIn, and LinkedIn itself doesn't allow you to do that. And like you said, Hunter, they're getting more and more and more restrictive on the data that they allow you access to. So what we're doing is we're going around that. We're building our own list, and then when we build a list, we have all those LinkedIn URLs, those profiles, and we can import them into our system. Not only that, but we're also getting phone numbers and email addresses for every single one of these contacts as well, guys. So in when it comes to managing the stages of LinkedIn engagement, what you need to track, and I already mentioned this, is new connections, replies, interested, long-term follow-up, and disqualified. So this needs to be built into your system so that you know how to prioritize your time. And Hunter's going to show us how this is built into the LinkedIn automation tool in just a second. Now let's talk about webinars. So why webinars are so important as part of this strategy. And I'll be the first to tell you that this model, what we've developed here, is not right for everyone. If you're not willing to get on camera and produce a 45-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute webinar, once a month or once a quarter at the least, then we can't implement this for you, because you got to bring that value. You need to educate, and you need to bring something to the table so that LinkedIn sees you as an authority figure. That is so critically important. And I would say I love this statement: authority beats activity. We can automate a lot of activity, but if you aren't bringing the thought leadership to the table, then you're only handling one of those silos. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just keep moving here instead of reading everything verbatim. So let's talk about some of the things that we bring to the table that go above and beyond just the regular technology stack and specific to the business broker space. We've developed a system that actually creates a unique business estimator using AI. And this is a tool that we provide to our business brokers, completely branded to your brand. So you get your own business valuation tool. And now we can, as part of our LinkedIn engagement strategy, instead of just saying, hey, meet with me, make an appointment, now you can provide these resources and say, hey, have you ever wondered what your business is actually worth? Here's a tool we developed. Check it out. Well, what happens when somebody engages with this business broker valuation tool is you get a lead, because they give up all their information. Now they're putting in their company industry, the size of the company, the revenue they're making, everything that is relevant to a valuation becomes tremendous selling points to you. All that information comes from the business broker valuation tool and drops into your CRM. So now you're fully equipped to have a conversation and a follow-up with them. Whether they book an appointment with you or not, you're going to call them and say, hey, I saw you just submitted your business for valuation. Wanted to introduce myself and take the call from there. So these are some of the lead magnet assets that we've developed that you can now offer to your prospects as a way of breaking the ice and getting them to engage and getting valuable information about them that you can use as part of your sales process. Next, we actually developed some marketing collateral for you to promote that lead magnet. So we actually professionally design some of the 9x16 and square images designed specifically to help promote your valuation tool. And these are going to have your logo on them. You get a handful of these assets that we can start promoting right away on LinkedIn and on other social channels. We also develop a 12-part email drip campaign. This is to follow up on sellers and buyers. So as leads come into your system and we identify them as a seller or buyer, they're going to get an appropriate drip campaign to keep that your brand in front of them until they engage. And why this is important is because leads are going to be coming into your system automatically. And that's because our LinkedIn technology, as you connect with someone who you've already identified as your ICP, you know they're the right person for you. Once they connect with you, that lead's going to drop into to Deal Studio or your CRM automatically. But they haven't necessarily said, I'm ready to sell my business yet. They haven't even necessarily engaged with you. You've just got a one-to-one connection. So for that reason, you need to continue to nurture that lead even outside of LinkedIn until they raise their hand. So the pipeline management. So this is another system that we build into this whole process to handle the complete registration process. So when you promote your webinar, we're going to have a whole registration landing page set up for you. We track attendance, and this includes things like people who register, people who attend, people who attend 25%, 50%, 75%, people who attend the whole thing. And then we can have triggers set up to re-engage with those prospects after the webinar and to provide the recording and other assets. And that's the outreach stages of the whole thing. And then the conversations part is qualified opportunities. So once somebody's attended your webinar, that's what we consider to be a qualified lead. I mean, you want to put that person at a higher level of priority than just someone who registered but didn't attend. So here's the other benefit of webinars, and this is why the webinar strategy is so important to this whole process, is the webinar creates assets. And by that, I mean, when you take a long form recording, just like we're doing now, and if you guys don't believe webinars work, well, you are a testament. The fact that you're here right now is a testament to webinars working. This is the strategy. We're replicating what we've just done with you for you to implement for your prospects. And what we're going to do and what I'm going to do with this webinar once it's done is I'm going to take it and upload it into some of my AI tools, and it's going to chop it up into about 6 or 8 different smaller bite-sized chunks, quality clips that we can take and immediately start posting on social media. So your webinar becomes the content that you feed into LinkedIn and into your other social channels to bring that content to the table. So extremely, extremely powerful. And we provide all the tools and the services to help take the video and break it up into those social media bites. So we do offer, and just to be aware, this is not required. This is an optional thing that if you don't want to handle the social media component of the strategy yourself, we do offer it as a service. I'm mentioning this because I'd say 50% of the people I talk to, if not a little bit more, would rather pay somebody else to do it. So we have it as an option. And that's actually, I should mention, that's Brittany, who I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. She oversees all of this. And so US based right here in California, you're dealing with a person who actually is an industry expert, has design expertise as well, and knows how to implement these strategies on social. All right, so then we have the snapshot. So this is really important. So when we engage and start working with you, we implement our business broker snapshot that lays on top of your CRM. So it's a layer that goes on top of what you already have. Because what you have with Deal Studio is an amazing system for managing your deals and your deal flow. But what we bring to the table is that top of funnel component, the piece that says, how do we get leads in and what do we do with those leads and how do we nurture them? And then how do we qualify them and then move them up in priority as they engage with our content to eventually where they become a real opportunity, a sales qualified lead. And then how do we move that all the way through that deal flow as well? So our snapshot's going to provide and I'll just read through it here. AI chatbot assembly. So this is where we're going to build out the AI tooling within your system to make sure that that's set up to automatically handle conversations, web chat on your website, and even automatically respond to comments and posts on social media. So this chatbot will get set up to automatically handle that. Next, we have our video landing pages, and I'll show you these in a second, but video landing pages are a way of providing video directly in your LinkedIn outreach campaign. This tremendously differentiates you from what everybody else is doing. Have you ever got those messages on LinkedIn that are like, hey, I looked at your profile and I think we would be a great fit to talk, right? The same message that everybody else is sending, those don't work. What works is different. What works is unique. And so incorporating video into your messaging really stands out, and we got a great tool for that. Calendar booking automation. If you don't have your calendar system set up, you are missing out. This is an amazing, the integrated into the Deal-Studio system is an amazingly powerful calendar and booking engine. And so we've configured it for optimal use, and that's part of the snapshot that we bring. Lead opportunity pipelines, and I'm going to have Hunter talk a little bit more about this, but what this comes down to is being able to manage what are called MQLs, marketing qualified leads, and SQLs. Those are your sales qualified leads. And those all have steps along the way. So we bring that to the snapshot as well. I talked a little bit about the email. We also do some SMS campaigns. If you're using text messaging as part of your workflow, we can incorporate those messages. And these are going to handle things like your email drips and re-engagements, and even some system-based messaging for when people book with you. You know, what are you sending back to them? How are you continuing to nurture and ensure that that appointment shows up? And then, of course, our LinkedIn and webinar drip campaigns related to the program that we're launching. So how Onedery partners with its brokers. So we install the system, right? We handle everything. I don't want you guys to feel like we're just giving you the tools and now telling you to go figure it out. We actually install the system for you into your Deal-Studio account. We handle the workflow engineering and get it customized to you. I understand that every one of you on this call are unique. You might all be in the same business, but you're unique, and the size of your organization and the number of people on your team, that all plays into how we make those customizations. Also, our funnel creations and our landing pages, those get built out as well and connected to your domain name so that everything is branded. The website setup, we handle the setup of your first website, or of your webinar. The webinar setup is kind of an initial build, get everything built out for you so that now you've got a landing page, you've got a registration process, it's all connected to the CRM, so leads are flowing seamlessly. And then, of course, as I mentioned, our white glove support. This really means that we're here to not just install the system, but we're here to strategize and understand what makes you unique and make sure that that gets built into the process. So let's talk about pricing. So the Deal-Flow, or the LeadFlow system by Onedery is a subscription-based model. It runs $497 a month, and that includes all of the technology stack. So all of the tools I just shared with you, the webinars, the snapshot, the video landing pages, the LinkedIn automation, it's all bundled in for $497 a month. And then there is a one-time setup fee. It's $997. This setup fee is typically $3,000. So that's kind of our standard onboarding fee is $3,000. But for Deal-Studio clients, this is kind of like your special rate. And that includes everything that you see here. And then the optional social media management. If that's something you want to turn on, you don't want to handle all the posting on your own, we can handle that for you. It's an additional $500 a month. So there's the transparency on that. I do want to do a quick comparison, and then I'll bring up a QR code that you can scan to take you to the main landing page if this is something you want to apply for. So the comparison here is if you were doing this on your own and just trying to build the technology from scratch, you probably pay $300 for a CRM. That's pretty going rate. LinkedIn automation through Link Sync would run $349 a month. Webinar system about $200. Video tooling, you can get it about $50. I've seen some systems that are more expensive than that. To build out a financial health or kind of what we call the business broker lead magnet, you'd be paying about $50 a month, not including the initial setup. You could spend $1,000 or $2,000 to get that built for you, but on a monthly basis, you'd probably pay $50 for the hosting. Then some graphic design for those ads that we're talking about, and social media management, probably between $500 and $1,000 for a grand total of somewhere in the ballpark of $1,500 to just over $2,000 a month just for the software. So that does not include the setup piece. Over here with Onedery, the CRM snapshot is included, the LinkedIn automations included, webinar system, video tools, the funnel, the graphic design, all included. The only thing that's not is if you want the social media. And so we're talking $497 to $997 a month is your commitment there. So there we are. That's the end of the presentation. I am going to get into demoing some of the software, but I'll leave it here for just a second for anybody who wants to check out our landing page. You can scan this QR code, and this is powered by the GHL system. So you can make QR codes like these too within your Deal-Studio account. And I'll show you how. That's part of our strategy session. Um, but if you do want to get started with us or just learn more, scan the QR code or go to dealflow.onedery.com/deal-studio, where we have a page set up specifically for Deal-Studio clients like yourself. So go ahead and check that out. I will use the opportunity while we leave this up to just mention that this is an application process. We don't accept everybody. And when you join, we're going to be putting you into a queue. And that just helps ensure that as people join and come on board, we're able to provide the right amount of attention and support to you to get your system completely built and dialed in right out of the gate versus just trying to do everything all at once. So if it's a week or two before we actually start the build, that's why, is because there is a queue. But like I said, we don't bring everybody on. If you go to the webpage here and scan that QR code, it will take you to an application process. Fill out that information. Tell us about yourself. We'll review everything. If we have any questions, we'll call you. And once approved, then you can do this, handle the setup fee, and the rest is just on us for onboarding. So that's kind of the process. Ron, do you want to take a second maybe and take a look at some questions? If there's any in there, you can throw them
Yeah,
at
we
me.
got we got
In the
two people that
meantime,
raised their hands, so I'll see if Rolf and Alicia. Rolf, if you want to unmute and ask your question real quick, and then we'll let Alicia. And then there were a few questions that came through that Hunter answered, but I don't know if it went to everybody, so we can get to those. Hey, Rolf, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
hey, Rolf.
When I started 10 years ago, I had a postcard campaign, and I sent out 25 postcards every day to my target audience, which is old guys who want to retire.
Hmm.
And I found out that 45% of them never had any good reason for creating a LinkedIn profile. Um, so I'm trying to figure out how to get to those guys as well.
Well, we are dealing with a little bit of a generational element there, right?
Yeah,
When you have the older generation who's looking to retire, there is going to be that component of, hey, do they have a LinkedIn profile? Are they active on LinkedIn? What I can tell you is that when we do our searches, when we pull using intent-based data, that search is actually built outside of LinkedIn, outside of the LinkedIn ecosystem. And we can align, we can get that the URL associated with that profile and import it into our system. But there
and
are
that's like
over,
search engine based.
and no, actually, it's pulling based off of 8 major data collection resources that are all aggregated together. So it's looking at
Okay,
intent signals, like what are they doing on the internet that would tell you that they're a good prospect for you. So it could be that they're researching retirement plans, or it could be that they're actively looking for how to sell my business. Those things of that nature, we can find those intent signals and then target them accordingly. But yeah, one of the cornerstones of our system is LinkedIn, and with over 1 billion users on the platform, understandably, there's going to be few that don't actively engage on LinkedIn, and that's why it's critically important that those leads not only get nurtured on LinkedIn, but into your CRM, that you can also follow up with emails and phone calls and other actions outside of the LinkedIn ecosystem. Great question, Rolf.
Jeff, do you want me to demo that a little bit
In
so that
just a
everyone
second,
can
let's get
see
through
that?
a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, Rolf. And Alicia, if you want to unmute, we'd love to have your question. How are you
Sure.
doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Awesome. Well, my question is, do we get the presentation video afterwards so we can refer back here? And
Yep.
then also, yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
we'll
I
do a
see,
follow-up email to everybody that registered. Maybe some had to miss. We'll make sure everybody gets a copy of the video and the links that Jeff is handing out as well.
Okay, cool. And the QR code works, but I don't think your link here that says Deal-Flow works. I try to open that one up first.
You're so right. Oh man, that's embarrassing. Let me click on. This is what happens when you're up late.
Oh
Been there,
yeah.
done that. All right,
Yep.
cool. Thank you.
There
Thank
you
you for
go.
letting us
So
know. Have a good one, Alicia. Appreciate that. And yeah, a few more questions. Gosh, maybe just speak to Paul's question. I understand that LinkedIn has been de-emphasizing organic content in favor of paid media. Is that true? And how has that changed things?
So LinkedIn is making major pushes towards revenue on all fronts, right? They're making it more difficult for you as a free user to do what you used to do, limiting the number of searches you can run, the number of messages you can send, and so on. So it definitely is on that front. It's quality over quantity, right? We need to get hyper concentrated on who we're targeting and our messaging so that we can get the most out of what LinkedIn does allow. But then also as it relates to content, I would say to a certain degree, yes, they are continuing to push for more paid posts and going down the path of a little bit of a Facebook model, but they're always going to have a balance of that. It's never going to be where organic content is totally suppressed. But what I can tell you for sure is that organic content that is suppressed is the content that is irregularly posted. And if it's just once in a while you're doing something and there isn't that consistency there, you're almost sure to get kind of pushed out of organic results.
Right. And Lauren, we've got you online. How you doing?
Hey, doing well. Nice to be here. So I have several questions. I've been kind of eyeball deep in all this, trying to understand it. So I just know enough to make me dangerous. I'll start with that. Um, your intent, you're finding the actual contacts or the companies. I use Zoom Info, but that doesn't take me to the actual contact.
We get actual contacts.
You get, okay, all right, that's good. Can the webinars be run evergreen
Yes.
once they're okay? Um, what is the time commitment that you guys are asking for on the subscription?
So, here's the reality. I would like to say that it's a year commitment because the strategy is one that takes time to build, right? The more content and the more you get out there into the systems, the better and better and better it gets over time. But the reality is that if we're not delivering results for you in 6 months or so, we would absolutely understand if we had to go separate ways. But this is not a 14-day free trial. Dip your toe
Right.
in,
All right.
give it a
I get
shot.
that. I get that.
We work
Uh,
way too hard to get this off the ground
I
to do that.
understand. All right. One last question. Oh, don't forget your question, Lauren. Um, don't cut me off, Ron. It's going to come back
Nope.
to me in just a second.
Nope. You kick it.
Um, geez. Okay, I'll put it in the chat when it comes back in my head.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. No
Please
problem.
do. I'll make sure to I'll ask it at the end here. The time is going quick, so we appreciate you coming on, Lauren, and I can get you connected with Jeff, and we'll do the follow-up email so everybody has Jeff's information, the links, the recording, etc.
Absolutely. Let me do a quick demo of a couple of our platforms so everybody has an opportunity to kind of see under the hood, and then I'll turn it over to Hunter and let him go into a little bit more detail and show some examples. So this is the Link Synced 2.0 technology that we've developed and fully integrates with Deal Studio. So this is the tool that's going to actually send out all the messages and all the invites automatically for you. And those automations, just so you know, they stop once a response is detected. That's critically important because we're not trying to have artificial conversations here. Our tool is designed to get conversations started. So if we take 1,000 prospects, I guarantee you 800 of them are not ready to talk. So that's just a lot of work to get through, all the prospecting to those just to get the other 20% to engage. So you spend your time engaging with people who are ready to talk, let the automation do the rest of the work. You can see here, just in the last week, this is a brand new client of ours. I'm just giving you a peek under the hood of what we launched for them. This is just in the last week. We've got 211 invitations sent, 26 messages have been triggered, 89 engagements happening already. Getting this off the ground with a bang. I love this. Love to see the graphs and kind of knowing, hey, what's happening with this campaign. The reason why 26 messages have been sent, even though there's a bunch of invites that have sent, is because messages don't trigger until the invite is accepted. So that's where, this does take a little bit of time to get going. It's important to understand that because we got to send these invites in order to start the communication drip going a little bit down the road. Just to show you what a campaign looks like, here we have one up here at the top. He's targeting small business owners. In this list, we've compiled a database of 2,300 leads, and he's up to an 8% acceptance rate. This will continue to increase over time. It just takes time to get people to accept. And I'll pop into the sequences here just so you can see honestly, this is what Hunter builds. He's a freaking rock star when it comes to these things. And he's built these systems that are designed to kind of take everything into account. You don't need to worry about learning all this stuff. This is the stuff that we set up for you. But first, it's going to send an invite to connect, and then it's going to look for whether they accepted that. And if not, it's going to withdraw that invite and circle back around on them later. Then it engages with their profile by actually liking a post that they've created. And then it tags them as a business owner so that we know when this lead drops into the CRM, what type of lead it is. Then it's going to fire off the first message. And in this particular case, we made it so that it's including a video. Like I told you guys, video speaks, right? Well, even though this is just a URL that you see here, the way it shows up in LinkedIn is actually like a GIF. So it actually plays the video in the messaging thread so they see that video. And sorry, my system's not loading very quickly. I've been dealing with some system issues, but I'll pop back over to that one in a second. So it automatically displays the video, and then they can engage with you. Each time the system's going to look and see if there was a reply. If there's no reply, then it continues to move forward and so on and so forth. Really, really powerful. Hunter's done an amazing job building these out, and this is part of what we install on your behalf is these systems. Next, I'm just going to pop over to the video tool itself. So this is the system that we provide to capture those videos. And let me just show you one here. This is the SMB LinkedIn outreach video. So what this does is it allows you to build out a call to action button and put in what you want the call to action to be and even your phone number. And then those landing pages will automatically generate the video with the buttons underneath. So this is provided to you, and it also does video testimonials and a bunch of other cool stuff as well. But we really use it primarily for the LinkedIn outreach. That is the landing page that you would land on. Let me show you the business advisory or the business valuation tool. So this business valuation tool is going to be completely branded for you, and it's a separate landing page, but we can connect it or embed it into your website as well. They're going to answer a series of questions about their business and their brand. It's going to go through the financials, the quality, and the estimate, and then ultimately produce a result. Now, I don't really have time to get into this right now, but I will provide a link to everybody that you can play with this yourself and test it out, because it takes about 4 minutes to get through the entire assessment, but it's totally worth it at the end. I will mention that this is AI powered. And by that, I mean, this is not just one valuation formula being applied to everybody. The system learned the various different methodologies for valuation, for business valuation. And based on the type of company you are and your revenues and how your revenue is dispersed and broken up and what your profit margins are and so on, it's going to apply the best valuation method and come up with a range. So it's safe. And there's a disclaimer in there saying, hey, nothing's official. This is just a range. But then it also breaks down how it came to those results. So it's fully transparent in that regards. But I will provide a link for everybody to test that out. Lastly, the webinar system. So this system, if you're familiar with like Zoom webinars, this is going to function very similarly, but better. Our webinar system allows you to create, and we'll build the first one for you, create a brand new webinar with landing pages and all the automations, but it's also powered by AI. So if you're not good at building this stuff or writing scripts or building out the slides and the presentation, the system Using AI will build it all for you. You can literally just put in your website and it will, and give it some prompts and it'll start putting everything together fully integrated into the system. So it makes it really, really easy to do that. All right, Hunter, out of respect for time, I'm going to turn it over to you, man. I know there's a couple things you wanted to show.
Yeah, and I think I think just if folks, pardon me here. I think I just shared the wrong screen. Let me stop that. I wanted to share link synced, so it should be here. No, why
There you
is
go.
that sharing the wrong screen?
I see link synced.
You do?
Yep,
Mhm.
yep, that was
Okay.
it.
I'm seeing the wrong one on mine. Thanks for telling me that.
Yep.
All right, let me I'll just share it then. So you can see this here with my mouse.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. This is one of our clients, Daniela de LaGuardia. I think she's been running for maybe 2 months. This is the dashboard. So Jeff showed this unique view. It's a really nice view. You can get a quick capture of just generally what's been happening. And again, we can go into these localized campaigns. In this case, these are the folks that she cares about reaching out to, and you can kind of see, the accepted rate, the replies, and what we consider opportunities. Also, there's an aggregation of all conversations in here, and this is really where we work with our clients for the most part. Um, these are really cool features, but you're probably not going to spend a lot of time in them. And we know that you're not going to want to come in here as your main source of doing things that you need to do. So what I always encourage our clients to do is go to the Unibox where we aggregate everything, go to the reply. This is what you should care about. And I'm going to quickly just show you kind of how, like, this is an example of how powerful our system is. So this is our Onedery CRM, but we operate out of Deal-Studio for business brokers. Okay, so it's the same there. So basically, watch here. This is the MQL, our marketing qualified leads. These are people that have connected. We know they were searching for exactly what we want to talk to them about, but they maybe haven't raised their hand yet. So we consider them a marketing qualified lead and not a sales qualified lead. Now, in this case, I can clearly see here Amy Lazarus is not interested because she said right here, not interested. So I can literally grab her name, go to my Deal-Studio CRM. In this instance, it's not, but it operates the exact same. And you can see that her data is here. And why I'm going to show you that is because I want to show you how powerful some of these automations are. Now we have a tag and routing system that we installed. She's not interested. So I'm just going to click not interested, and it's going to update that. And it's going to seamlessly remove this from the instance. And it actually removed it as I was reloading it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
But you're going to see now that that search name is no longer there. There's nothing in the CRM except for a contact record, I believe, and I'm not sure about that, but it's irrelevant. The all the marketing series have stopped. She'll no longer be pestered. She'll no longer get any outreach on LinkedIn or Link Sync product. She'll no longer get emails. Any kind of outreach is done because she said not interested, and all I had to do was just go ahead and flip that tag. Whereas, okay, so Jesse Espinosa here. Okay, so maybe, and I'll let her get to that. By the way, she gave me access to do this, so she already left these for me. But look at this. Okay, so pretty small. There was one right in here. Let's see. Where was this thing? Okay, so let's say this one.
I think that first one or that
This
second
one here,
one.
right?
Yeah, there you
I'm
go.
happy to meet.
That was great.
Okay, this one should work. So I'm going to go and real quick, I'm going to grab this guy, Joseph Post, and I'm going to throw him in instead, just so you can see that there's data here. Okay, Joseph Post is in a long-term follow-up. So he's crossed the border. He's gotten this link sync messaging, probably still is. He got some initial messages on email to kind of bridge the gap and explain why we're emailing him. And then now he's getting a longer term follow-up. And at this point, he is interested. So I'll mark him interested. And so you can see that now the tag interested is applied. And I'll wait just a minute on this one. I won't get antsy this
I
time.
love what you're showing us here, man, because this is, guys, this is how the CRM and the LinkedIn automation tools are talking in real time. And we're keeping all of our data clean and allowing you to go through your inbox and kind of say, hey, this is a good one. That's not a good one. It's going to happen. There's going to be people who say, no, I'm not the right fit. And you want to make sure that you're not continuing to follow up with people and send emails to people who don't want it, right? If they've asked to not be included. So that's where, just applying these quick tags are all tied to integrations that we have set up to automatically handle those updates within the CRM.
We might have had a legacy contact here. I'm going to do a different one here.
And
So let's
Jeff, real
see.
quick, the question came
Jesse.
up, just the maybe touch on, um,
Jesse
somebody's
Espinosa.
not using Deal, so you use another CRM. Somebody asked about helping financial advisors. Just want to throw out a little bit of a before anybody leaves. Just we
Oh
obviously are
yeah.
encouraging Deal-Studio. There's a lot of automations that connects to the platform. But Jeff, you want to speak on that?
I absolutely can speak to that. So we can work with you on any platform. Obviously, we'd love to see you on Deal-Studio, of course, and we encourage you. And if you're a business broker, it's one of the best tech stacks for managing deal flow that I've seen. I refer my clients, my business broker clients, to Deal-Studio. I'd strongly encourage it. But let's say you're on Zoho or Pipedrive or Salesforce or something else. We can integrate to most of those platforms. Or if you don't have a CRM, we can absolutely provide you with one.
And
So
you can help people if somebody is just asking me that do you help financial advisors? So this platform can go outside of business brokerage as
Yeah, it
well.
can go outside of business brokers. We work with financial advisors, we work with coaches, we work with a wide variety. But this snapshot in particular, this one's designed specifically for business brokers, but we do have another one that is just for business professionals. Absolutely.
Great, thank you.
all right. So you can see I applied the interested tag here, and the new SQL is moved here because the person's interested, removed from the MQL, removed from marketing and advertising to try to get them. And then in here, we have internal loops that are going to send you either tasks or emails, whichever you prefer. Most people prefer emails, and they'll send them at a rate that makes sense. And it'll tell you what to do. It'll give you the information right there. So even if you didn't want to log into your CRM, but you'd rather log into your mobile Deal-Studio application, great, right? It'll say, hey, you need to reach out to this person. Here's their
Connor,
name.
can you explain the
Here's their
difference
phone. Here's their
between,
email.
can you quickly just explain the difference between the MQL pipeline and the SQL pipeline, just so everybody understands, the difference between those two types?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, so the marketing qualified leads, or the MQL, is where we know they're the right target and we've connected with them on LinkedIn and possibly they've made a reply, but they haven't said anything that's interesting enough for us to believe, hey, we need to engage them. Okay, your MQL should be a much larger group than your SQLs. And if you think about this whole webinar, the purpose of the webinar series, the purpose of the content that you're getting authority through LinkedIn and so on, is to bring those MQLs into an education point to where they're like, that's the person I need to work with. They raise their hand, and then we have automations and everything that's supposed to happen to keep things falling through the cracks. Because the worst part that a business owner can experience in business, right, is when somebody's ready. Hey, hello, I'm right here, and then somebody forgets, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I signed up with Joe Blow, your competitor. Sorry about that. It does happen, and it hurts, right?
Yep. Yep.
So these systems not only automate, educate, and then move them into the correct status, but they will literally babysit you, and it's going to be on you if you don't call them, because I promise you it's going to hit you. You need to
And
call
this
this
is
person.
part
You need
of
to
the
reach out.
snapshot. So the delivery, we actually embed these snaps in our snapshot. Everyone's going to get an MQL pipeline, an SQL pipeline, and the workflow automations behind those to help people move through the appropriate stages. And I just want to point out the last thing is that we also provide really comprehensive training. So I know CRMs are intimidating, and I know learning new softwares are intimidating. So that's part of the white glove process that we really do bring you under our wing, walk you through everything, make sure you fully understand how the system works and how you can make it work for you and your organization. But
And I would just say, Jeff, that this is like, I mean, this is a lot for everybody to absorb in an hour, and we're out of time, which always goes by so quick.
Oh,
And I definitely want to have you put in that link so everybody has that call to action to start the conversation. Get that link, use the QR code, and book a meeting with Jeff. We'll definitely have them back on. This is going to be a strong partnership for both companies, and I would say just to go back on that, um, a lot of this, a lot of this can be done outside of the Deal-Studio CRM, but a lot of the pipelines and the automations and the chat bots and the AI. Jeff and I met because of the high level CRM. That's what Deal-Studio is built on. So it does allow you to go the furthest, but we certainly understand that some people are already very embedded with a CRM, and you can still benefit from getting a lot of this. But when I've really sat with this, Jeff and Hunter, um, the power this really has, and we're implementing it for ourselves, is really powerful. It really checks a lot of the boxes, that top of funnel, that follow up, and you guys really are including everything needed. I mean, it's the emails, the text, the follow up, the pipelines, the lead capture, the LinkedIn automation, getting the leads. It's really it I will say it seems too good to be true. It's really an exciting platform. And you guys are doing a great job. We can't wait to see what brokers can do here. This is like the latest and greatest. And so if anybody has any further questions, and I hate to cut the time short, but we are past the hour. But there is the link in the chat. There's the QR code. There's the link for anybody that just wants to type it in. I would highly encourage just learning more. We'll have more opportunities for you guys to meet Jeff and Hunter and the platform. We'll be sending out a follow-up email so everybody has the link to the recording and the link to have the conversation, the valuation tool that Jeff promised. And Jeff, Hunter, great job. This is really exciting. We can't wait to get started. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Deal-Studio or to Jeff and Hunter. Thank you guys very much. We look forward to this new partnership and everything it's going to do for the business brokerage industry. So thank you both. We appreciate it.
absolutely, Ron. Thank you so much for having us, and I appreciate everybody who joined us today.
All right. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.